right, let's move on to the next game. This was a very important one, second biggest one, I would say, and that was Chiefs at Broncos. This game, I predicted the Chiefs to win 23-18, and in this game, it was looking a little snoozy. It wasn't looking that exciting, but in the end, the Broncos would win 22-19. So almost the inverse of the score I predicted. The Chiefs dropped to 5-5. Now continuing to be out of the playoff picture, moving into the next week, and the Broncos are now 9-2, and with the Chargers falling apart the way they did, now dropping to 7-4, it looks like the Broncos have just slammed the door on the AFC West title. What did you guys think of this game from the Broncos?
I would agree that the Broncos slammed the door. This is their division. They won it. The Chiefs looked terrible, I'd say. Overall, just not impressed with the Chiefs. Haven't been all year. I'm not even impressed with Denver, though. That's the thing. Like their offense, I'm not even like. I'm not. I don't see that as like a playoff winning offense. So this was just an overall. This was overall just a gross game to watch, and considering the Chiefs in the position that they are, being 5-4 when they couldn't pull that game out, that's a strike against them, I'd say.
Quick fact, Chiefs and Broncos both had 10 penalties each. The Chiefs had their penalties totaled for 69 yards. The Broncos penalties totaled for 147 yards. And the Chiefs had one turnover. It was an interception by Mahomes. So you're right. It was a
Yeah, it was.
disgusting game, and then neither team was good on third down. Chiefs 5 of 13, Broncos 7 of 15.
Again, I feel like it brings back to my point that I feel like every time the Chiefs play the Broncos, they play such basic football. It's thoroughly like agitating. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like as a football guy, a football fan, like the type of play, like to me, it's like, for example, last year they absolutely just sat everybody, let the Broncos come in, smack them, and then the Chiefs went into the playoffs and absolutely BTA like it was nothing. And I feel
Yeah.
like they still had that same mentality. Like I can come into this team, we beat them like normal. It's gonna happen. Then they lost, and they're like, "Oh shit! Now we really have to try for the rest of the year
We got just about go 6-2 down the stretch, or
down the
five
stretch."
five and two.
So it's like for me, watching the Chiefs do this kind of game, it's kind of like agitating because that's where it's like, mind you, it could be a good strategy in the playoffs because then nobody knows what you're doing. But now you're in this situation, and I don't feel like we've ever seen. Which guys, it's gonna come up. If Mahomes brings this team into the playoffs at the record that they're at and goes far into the playoffs, if not the Super Bowl, listen, like we talked about how Joe Burrow was almost did that, and then the Chiefs absolutely like slammed the door on them and yada yada. Like the Chiefs slammed the door on the Bengals to get in the playoffs and everything. But we're talking about like I genuinely don't remember. Was there ever a year Brady ever needed to go and bring the Patriots back from a like a
Through the wild
under
card,
500 record? Yeah,
or
under
bringing them back
500
from under
record to go to the
500.
wild.
Oh man, I'm sure there was a season where it was closer than it usually is. But I do think it seemed they were always handedly going to win the division because it was so bad. So they didn't really have to
Exactly.
worry as much about that happening. Whereas I feel like Mahomes definitely has to deal with a lot tougher division
Hmm.
on a year in year out basis. Um, so it's an interesting point.
So
I
I'm just
think
saying, but
I think if
overall,
he does, is it going to mean something to me? Oh yeah. I mean, if he does this is going to be something we
to me,
haven't
it's like
really
there's
seen
no
from him
disrespect.
before.
Regardless, down year, bad year, good year, decent year, Hall of Fame year, he's him. Like to me, I'm like, you bring you back from a under 500, go far in the playoffs, or win the Super Bowl, bro. I think to me, there's a lot of undisputed things going on forward. You know what I'm saying? That conversation with Brady Mahomes, I start paying attention to that conversation after this. Like,
Well, yeah. If Mahomes can bring in another Super Bowl in the next 3 years, I'd say he'd be on a pretty good pace to catch those 7 Super Bowls that Brady has. So it's because he's gonna be more than halfway there. He'll be just about on pace, and but in order to challenge for that, I think the AFC doesn't look that great this year. I mean, I know they just lost to this Broncos team, but I think this team is very beatable. I think if this Chiefs team gets into the playoffs, one or two of their bad matchups could get knocked off, and we could just see the same old thing we always see. It's always possible, but they do have to make the playoffs for that to happen, and the standings are looking pretty ugly right now. I think as it stands now, it would be Patriots and Broncos as the 1 and 2 seed, Colts is the 3, Steelers is the 4, and then you got Bills, Chargers right now, who are probably going to fall out and miss the playoffs. And then I would assume Ravens, Jaguars, Texans, or Chiefs. So pretty competitive race in the AFC, and we'll just have to see who we trust the most through that situation. And kind of feel like Mahomes is just going to be one of those teams, whether they get a better record than the Chargers, I don't know. We'll see. It's looking pretty scary right now, though. All right. Are we ready for...
Oh, I'll be